It never ends till you go crazy. Thank you, Uncle Remus. Thank you, Wesley. And thank you, everybody who came. Now that's a franchise I'd watch.
I think you know why you are here. There's a part of you that the normies fear. The truth is what you see. So we welcome you to the home of geeks. Of the oddball, the neglected, the outcast, the rejected. We're all here to celebrate. Every nerd has a voice to be heard. 'Cause here everyone's up. There's no need to be a packlet. We've done away with all the hatred. Every show you love is here. So kick back, grab a beer. There's plenty of discussion, no agenda that we're pushing. We're just here to celebrate and drag a race. We rebels in the wondrous and strange. Whenever we are here, there's no fear. Intersecting every nerd has a voice to be heard. 'Cause here everyone's a third. We are a sci-fi menagerie. We've got every alien from A to Z. We know this is where you want to be. We're the greatest channel in the galaxy. And decorate. Rebels in the 1% strange. Whenever we are here, we see clear. There's no fear. Good standing every nerd has a voice to be heard. 'Cause here everyone's a third. A third. Oh yeah. A third.
Making your way with the nerds today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from hating JJ sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to just get laid? Sometimes you wanna go where all the Trekkies know your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be in a galaxy where Star Trek isn't lame. You wanna go where everybody knows your name.
Death to Corona!
Hey guys, what's going on? Michael J. Crawford, the anti-checker here, and you know, some days you just got to remember Forrest Gump and say stupid is as stupid does. I'll get into that in a minute, but first to the chat for a couple of minutes. Thomas was first in the house, although Mr. Miles says first even. So that's kind of an interesting one. Richie says hello. Kenneth says, hey, anti-checker. Bo says, hey, everyone. Chrono says, so first. And Jeff says, greetings. How you doing, Jeff? And Jeff says, so last. You're definitely not last, Jeff. You're definitely not last, because right after you is Rambling Canuck, my pain brother. Good to see you. Andrew JR008 says, hello. Chrono says, hopefully you're feeling better. I'm still hurting, I'm not going to lie, but the day is over, so a little less stress. So in that respect, yes. And actually, the drama thing, I gotta say, had a happy ending, and I'll get into that in a minute, which kind of made me feel good. Chrono says, hopefully, I already read that. Life with Matthew says, hey, Checker, how's it going? But by the title of the stream, kind of tips me off. Well, I'm not down about the drama thing because it was stupid, but like I said, it has a good ending, which we'll get into in just a few minutes. I see you're causing Twitter trouble. Yes, Thomas was definitely a witness to what I'm going to be talking about. Mike Richards is here from Columbus, Ohio. Richie saying, drama? What drama? And Biden is singing because, of course, he is. Stupid drama. Oh, so the CW's non-DC lineup. Well, even their DC lineup. You're always dramatic. That's not news. Well, true. Nightbreeze says, hey. Chrono says, yay. Cheers in space. Jolan True says, E. And Death to Kuroga says, Kronos, really? Still a red turd day? Sorry to, yeah, it's, break out the Romulan ale says, you know, that is the best idea I've heard all day. I am, in fact, going to break out the Romulan ale. So it's been, I owe myself some Romulan ale, I think. Thank you for mentioning that, because yes, this is definitely a Romulan ale kind of day. Jolan True and Kapla. I do love that stuff. All right. Thank you, Kronos. Zabe says, howdy, just came in from Doom Rod Extreme. I can listen to them on repeat. Your better life. Thank you, Zabe. Although, I gotta say, the last thing I could ever do is upstage Doomcock and Nerdrotic together on a stream. I mean, those guys are awesome, so, yeah. But thank you. Ensign Ricky says, yes! Okay. Only blondes deal with drama. Okay. Death to Conestoga? Some Apache warrior. Okay. Continuum says, beaming in. Hey, how you doing, my friend? Rona says, you're welcome. Tom says, I'm a witness to Bird of Prey pulled the trigger. I don't think it was Bird of Prey. It was someone named Reverend Brenfried. So I'll talk about it now for just a couple of minutes, and then I am going to forget about it and never talk about it again. So, Reverend Brenfried, who is, I don't know who the hell he is. I mean, he likes to post on Twitter. Obviously, based on his tweets, he's one of the more spiteful members of the Fandom Menace. I mean, I didn't see him say anything positive, but I mean, I understand. A lot of people in the Phantom Menace got into it because of negativity, and I'm not going to fault him necessarily for that. What I'm going to fault him for is for being a dick and outright lying. Now, when I say that, here's what he tweeted earlier, or actually, I guess it was yesterday. It says, okay, Doomcock had to unsub Anti-Trekker. His liking of the writing is his opinion. I'm fine with that. But his sudden defense of the scientifically impossible supernova as plausible, now he's told us how every admiral was either corrupt, incompetent, or downright evil. Now, to which, the funny thing about this is that, I tried to respond to it a little bit. I mentioned the fact that, first of all, I never said that every admiral was corrupt or downright evil. I said that a lot of them were. I did, and then in the tweet, I listed off Admiral Cartwright, the episode Conspiracy, the episode The Drumhead, Insurrection, and I said the list goes on. The idea is that corrupt and insane leaders in Trek is nothing new. The majority of brass that we've seen in Trek has been either corrupt or insane. Now, then, when he was getting into the supernova thing, he was like, he and his buddies were saying, "Oh, it's so crazy. How could you possibly think that a supernova would affect 500 light years?" Obviously, that someone didn't bother to watch the video, because if they did, they would know that Dr. Alex said 50 light years. And I pointed out that I actually did have a PhD in cosmology on the show to explain this, to which one of these nut jobs said, "I don't care who says what, that's crazy." And I said, okay, that says it all right there. A freaking PhD can say, the ultimate expert on the subject, a person who has a doctorate in the subject matter, and oh no, you know more because what? You watched a few extra episodes of Voyager and you can say quantum a whole lot? Yeah, so.
Hello, world.
And Ensign Ricky breaks the ice with a $2 super chat. Thank you so much. And he says, "Every Admiral effing is." I know my next video is. Yeah, I was actually thinking about doing a video trying to just look at all the Admiralties that we've seen. Now, not all of them are crazy, but a lot of them are. So, and yeah, Darren's pointing out, Admiral Ross was not evil, but he got pretty shady. Very true. So, anyway, so they lied about what I said clearly. Or at least they didn't understand what I said. And I could forgive that. That's an honest mistake. And by the way, there's a couple of people that were in the chat, or in this thread, that were basically people I would like, people I know, who would say things like, well, Anti-Trekker is just generalizing the fandom menace. And it's like, here's the funny thing about that is that I think I've been pretty good about saying over and over that, number one, like when people start throwing names out in the chat, I usually say don't do that because that's not cool. And I also like to point out that while part of the reason that I pick on Nerdrotic, Doomcock, and Mecha more than any other members of the Phantom Menace is because I know all three of them and I consider all three of them friends. And by the way, if you happen to catch the stream that I was on Midnight's Edge, the primary channel, on Friday, during that stream, I confronted Mecha head on about her BS when it comes to Picard, and, we're still friends. Right? And that's the thing. We can argue and still be friends. These people don't understand that. But here's the best part. So, I got sick of trying to defend myself against these numbnuts because I realized after a few attempts that these people are not really interesting in, like talking about why they might disagree with me over Picard. They're just wanting to be dicks, right? So, whatever. I'm not into that. However, so I decided, let's go to the source. So I sent a direct message to my good friend, Doomcock. And so I said, so people are making a big deal of you apparently publicly unsubbing me because of my stupid defenses of Picard. All I want to know is that true? To which Doomcock himself, within a few minutes, replied, "Dude, I never unsubbed you. It's a lie. I love you, man. WTF. I'm going to publicly say it right now, live." Now, what I didn't realize when I sent him the message was that he and Nerdrotic were, in fact, streaming at the time. And so, let's see if we can make this work. All right, that's the wrong screen, obviously. Or is it? No. Why is this up there? All right, get rid of that. All right, and we'll switch to here. So this is their stream that I believe is still going live right now, but this is about an hour and a half ago on their live stream. And so you can hear it straight from the mighty Doomcock himself.
And all sorts of, hacks and shills attacking me this week. You have been as well. But I just got a fucking tweet, a DM from Andy Trekker, who and I don't know what the fuck is going on. This is ridiculous. But he was asking me. He said people are talking about that I publicly unsubbed from him because of his stance on Star Trek Picard. He was asking me if it was true. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. I don't know what's going on. I have not unsubbed from Andy Trekker at all. I like Andy Trekker. He's a supporter of mine. I'm a supporter of his. We may disagree on Picard, but God knows I have not in any way publicly disavowed him or unsubbed from him or anything like that.
So there you go. And so let me say this. Yes. Oh. Thank you, Chancellor. I do appreciate that. So let me say this. So while I do disagree with Doomcock wholeheartedly as far as Picard, the guy's got class, right? And so he didn't need to do that. I didn't ask him to do that, but I really, really appreciated that. And so I sent the link to that dimwit that was trying to say that he unsubbed me. And exactly, Richie Doomcock, say what you want. You can disagree with him all day long, but he is a man of integrity. And so there's that. And Ralph Sexton puts $5 in. Thank you so much, Ralph. Says, most admirals are good, but don't make good stories. So the stories are about the bad ones. Now, that's a fair point. You could argue that most Starfleet admirals are good. They're just not featured in episodes because who wants to watch how great the admirals are? So, yes. But my point, I think, still stands, is that when people are, freaking out about the negativity in Starfleet, and it's like, have there been corrupted Starfleet high-ranking officials before? Yes, many times. By the way, has Starfleet been infiltrated at the highest levels by foreign agents before? Yes, multiple times. During the next gen era. So this is nothing freaking new, people. It's just done with better special effects. And yes, I'm the first to admit that the writing, as far as the dialogue writing for Picard, is horrible. It needs they write it way too contemporary. But as far as the storyline, the plot lines, and everything else, yeah, this is not like something that's like crazy. Yeah. Anyway, so only blondes deal with drama, says Kronos. Kronos says, oh, I already read that. Valor says, Mr. Miles always first. I'm always awesome. Auntie forever cuter than Baby Yoda, who tastes like chicken. With a hint of mint. That's probably true, actually. I have a good memory. What am I saying? Or what was I saying? Yeah, that's how I feel sometimes, my friend. Darth Revan says, hey, hope you're well, my friend. Massive storm outside. Well, I hope you're well, Darth Revan. I know you've had a little bit of a rough patch, but good to see you back, my friend. Where was I? KG313 says, hey, Anti-Checker, happy Sunday, brother. Good to see you. Sorry to hear another red turd night. Here's hoping you have a better week this week. Thank you, KG. I truly, truly appreciate it. And no, Max, this is not For Loco. And Night Breeze puts a donation in that I can't see because I forgot to fix that. Puts in $1, says, don't forget to hit the like button, turn on notifications, share on social media, tell your friends, donate anti-treats, down with Karoga, and all hail the hypno-turd. Well, okay. Auntie, you want a treat? Yeah, that woke her up. Right. And so now we got to get, you always make me do the hypno-turd, and I got to, okay, so we got to go here. And then we gotta turn on the hypno-turd and the music. And then we gotta
I'm just a streaming dirt.
Oh, hail the hypno-turd. You must give yourself to the hypno-turd. The hypno-turd is love. The hypno-turd is life. The hypno-turd knows you. For the hypno-turd is in you. For the hypno-turd is you. Give yourself the hypno-turd. Remember, the hypno-turd is in you.
And thank you, Night Breeze. I do truly appreciate it, even if you make me work for it. All right, there we go. All right, where was I? Sci-Fi Nation in the house. Those Green Sanctuary fellow nerds just about to sleep when you went live. Number 15. All right. Well, you know what? It's your birthday. So how can I say no?
Sir, we are being hailed.
On screen. What is your problem?
I am Lore.
Do you need help?
I have a YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is Lore Reloaded.
Let me guess, the rubber band broke, right?
I make YouTube go.
The classic. And by the way, Max, no, this is not Four Loko. I tried Four Loko once, did not care for it. So yeah, this is definitely not Four Loko. It is a pre-mixed drink, obviously, but no, not Four Loko. It's actually Bacardi Hurricane. Sci-Fi Nation says, greetings, Sandtrick and fellow nerds. Just about to, I just read that. Chrono says, say what? And Conestoga was the covered wagon in the old settled, that settled the old West. Oh, which is funny because Conestoga sounds suspiciously.
Yes.
Mark Andy says deep state admirals. They made Janeway an admiral, proves that most of them are crazy. Well, that's true. Darth says this a-hole doesn't understand that good Dr. Alex is a cosmologist. Apparently not, or they just don't care. But Kronos does correct me. They're called Novers. Yeah, I know. I got to remember that. And Kronos says, LOL, nut jobs are just awesome. I call them wing nuts, however. Yeah, I'm going to start using that term. And that's the thing. It's like I said, that person, I'm done with that person. I don't give a crap about anything he has to say or anybody else on that thread. I mean, and, you know, even the people I like on that thread, I'm done with that thread. I'm going to mute that thread because I don't care about that kind of stupidity. And then Ensign Ricky says, yes, I'm on it. All right, my friend, I look forward to it. SC said, I laughed so hard at the comments on your supernova videos. So many armchair cosmologists. Exactly. And that's the funny thing is, look, I fully admit that I am a lay person when it comes to astronomy, and all that stuff, right? So that's fine. I can make mistakes when it comes to stuff like that. It occasionally is true that I might call out some piece of garbage technobabble on Voyager that's actually a scientifically accurate use of the term. I've done that in the past. I admit it, because Voyager is so bad with the technobabble that when they actually get it right, it's, you know, like the broken clock being right twice a day. So, and so I get that. I understand that. And I can be completely wrong. But what I bring in, and one of the comments that I left on that stupid Twitter thread was that, look, you know, if you want to disagree with anything I said, I'm totally cool with that. But if you want to disagree with what Dr. Alex said, show me your freaking doctorate first. You can't count the admirals in conspiracy. They were under the control of parasites. Ah, but you see, here's the thing. Starfleet was, in fact, infiltrated, right? Not once, but twice in the next-gen era, because we had the parasites in conspiracy, and we also had the changelings. And so, the point is, like, if, and we don't know, but, like, for example, let's say that Commodore O is actually a Romulan Tal Shiar or something like that. Then that would make sense, and that would be infiltration number 3. No, I'm no PhD, but I could be a chain explosion or one star bouncing and igniting other stars. Well, Darth, the thing is, you don't need any of that. A basic supernova will destroy a 50 light year radius. Now, yes, it does take 50 years to spread that 50 light years for the radiation to reach 50 light years. Now, some people are like, oh, well, the matter ejected would take hundreds of years, if not thousands of years, to reach that kind of distance. Yes, but the radiation is what's going to kill you. Oh, you just turn on your shields. Yeah, because you have supernova radiation shields, whatever. You know, it doesn't work that way. If that were the case, then whenever there was a nova in the area, why didn't Kirk or Picard write, oh, raise shields and stay put? No, they got the hell out of Dodge. And before you start saying metaphasic shielding, first of all, metaphasic shielding isn't standard equipment on every starship, and also we don't know that metaphasic shielding would work on a planetary scale. Also, the Enterprise D, long after the invention of metaphasic shielding, had to get the hell out of Dodge with a basic nova, not even a supernova, in Star Trek Generations. So, yeah, whatever. But the thing is, and we also talked about the fact that it would take years to evacuate even a single planet. And you would need to use the entire fleet to do it. And so the idea that they could just, oh, come on, everybody's got a starship. Don't you know that? Everybody has one. Because people are equating warp-capable ships with cars today. Like, just everybody has one. Well, first of all, let's suppose for just a second, and just for fun, and I know none of these people are here right now, but let's say just for fun that having a warp-capable ship was just as common as having an automobile today. You know what that means? The majority of the world's population is screwed, because not everybody lives in first world countries, and very, very few people that are outside of the first world have cars. So much for that argument. And even, you know, and the other... But the other problem is that warp-capable ships are not, you know, we don't see a whole lot of them everywhere. Why? Because there's something that basically, it would be like if an ordinary person owned a merchant marine vessel. It's not a common thing, right? And so it's more like owning a seaworthy yacht than owning a car. All right, because a car would be like having one of those stupid little shuttles that can get you from the Earth to the moon. But having a warp-capable ship would be being able to go into the deep sea, right? That's not the same thing. If Romulan space is very large, a supernova destroying 50 light years, including the Romulan cable, would be devastating the Empire. Yes. And based on what we could see of the maps, Romulan space is definitely not larger than 50 light years. Admiral Paris is the only admiral I know that was honest, but even then he has had some shady stuff going on. Well, I'll say this. I think Admiral Nietzschev, while she's kind of a harpy, was generally right. Like when she dressed down Picard about his not, you know, wiping out the Borg with Hugh, she was right to say that. Renegade, afternoon, Anti-Checker and fellow nerds. Hey, and the only time we really say Admiral Nietzsche being outright wrong was in the Dominion simulation. But the real Admiral Nietzsche genuinely cares about the Federation. Mr. Miles says, why is the stream limited to 720? I'm not sure. I noticed that it's actually, it looks like XSplit for some reason is on 720. I'm not sure why. So, apologize for that. I mean, not that you really need to see me in 1080. It sounds like the Rev is suffering from Dunning-Kruger. He's so stupid he doesn't know how stupid he is. I wouldn't say that, but you can. Please don't forget to switch to live chat. I did remember this time, Kronos. Thank you. Zabe says, good thing Doomcock knows how to use the Twitter machine, unlike Nerdrotic. Yeah, Nerdrotic is horrible about getting back on Twitter. I will tell you, that is true. And I'm glad Doomcock got the message so quickly. You don't need Doomcock's approval. I know I don't need his approval. Don't get me wrong, SC. I'm not saying, oh, I need Doomcock's approval to speak my mind. No, not at all. However, I truly appreciate, and this is why I call Doomcock a friend. He went out of his way to make a public display out of the fact that this guy was off his effing rocker in claiming that Doomcock unsubbed me. So I really appreciate that. And I don't, like I said, I know I don't need his approval, but I appreciate his friendship. Now, despite the fact that we disagree, I tell you, Doomcock is the kind of guy I would love to just sit down over a couple of beers or whatever he prefers to drink, because I'm really not a beer drinker, but I would do it just to hang out with him, and we could argue about Picard for hours on end, and I'll bet we'd have a great time doing it. Darther says, weird question, what's with the Irish representation of the Irish in Picard? It's weird, especially that plastic patty hologram I never said has with the angels, that means he's dead. He's with the angels, that means he's dead. Well, I'm sure that, here's the thing, Darth Revan, probably one of the writers heard an Irish person say that once and said, that sounds cool, let me write that into the story. But yeah, it's kind of funny how Irish the Romulans are. So congratulations, Darth Revan, you are a Romulan. Richie says, Doomcock is a man of integrity indeed. Thomas says, another good thing Alexander isn't here, he would call for nuclear war on the Phantom Menace. Yes, indeed he would. I will say thumbs up to the Cock O'Doom, indeed. And like I said, he is a friend. I disagree with him, but he is a friend. I don't dislike him. The Renegade says, and I'll tell you, if he had said, yeah, I unsubbed you and I told everybody to do it, then I would have said, F you, man, I'm done with you. But I know he wouldn't do that. And that's the thing. When I reached out to him, I was like, there's no way that Doomcock actually did what this guy's kind of saying he did. A world where we can respectfully disagree with each other. What sort of 24th century utopia would that be? Yeah, that would be crazy. We found the Star Trek quiz that you wrote. I didn't write a Star Trek quiz. I was taking questions out of a book. By the way, I'm thinking that this coming weekend we're going to do Deep Space Nine, just to let you guys know, this Friday. I really enjoyed doing the Star Trek trivia night, and so I think we're going to make that a regular thing, because I thought that was a blast, and it sounded like a lot of you guys liked it too. Even a lot of you guys that didn't participate seemed to enjoy it. It could be all the corporate trolls trying to split the fandom between classic base Trek and 2009 to current Trek. Yeah, I don't know what this guy's motivation is. All I know is that it was a dick move. I mean, because he outright lied. And so, obviously, he has no integrity. That's why I'm done with the conversation, because I'm not going to engage in conversation where somebody... Now, if Doomcock had actually said something like, well, man, I might have to unsubscribe to Anti-Trekker, maybe he was joking about it, I could see that happening and being misinterpreted, but that's not the case here. They infiltrated during TOS2, Klingon agents sabotaging the agriculture. Yes, you're right. Well, he didn't infiltrate the highest levels of Starfleet. He actually infiltrated a civilian facility. But he did work for a Federation official. But he didn't infiltrate the actual military. He actually infiltrated the government, which you could actually argue would be worse. Maybe Commodore O's glasses are just hinting to the fact that she's indeed a Romulan. But that doesn't make a lot of sense, because the Romulans would have the same inner eyelid as Vulcans. Remember, Romulans and Vulcans are the same species. They were together just 2,000 years ago. And Captain Spire puts a couple of bucks in, says, good night, Anti-Trekker. Keep on being vigilant out there. Vigilant out there. Vigilant. What the hell does vigilant mean? Thank you, Captain Spire, and thank you, my friend. Live long and prosper. Jolan True and Kapla. And I'm still putting a $50 bounty on the first person that can get the Duras sister that's still alive. I can't remember which one it is. Or the guy that plays Darvin, if he's still alive, I don't know. But either one of them to say Hail Kuroga. Anyway, Ozzy, yeah, I would think that if anything, the glasses would mean she's from the Mirror Universe if they were trying to drop something like that. Shouldn't most admirals be Vulcans and other long-lived species? Some admirals could spend 100 plus years as an admiral, even longer. You would think, but no. Kronos says, Auntie lives. Indeed, she does. Every now and then she actually moves. As you can see, look, I'll prove it. This is her favorite treat right here. A little piece of Korogan, this says Korogan bread, I guess. And watch this. Auntie. Yeah, there you go. So, yes. Zabe says, I assumed admirals were meant to represent out-of-touch bureaucracy, desk officer class. Our captain and heroes must have always be seen smarter and closer to the truth. I tend to agree, and that's nothing new, and it's nothing unique to Trek. It's always been the case that, you know, you have these high-ranking officers, and even low-ranking officers that are... I mean, look at the lieutenant from Aliens, right? Completely incompetent compared to the grunts. You still have your fingers, or did Auntie get those too? No, sadly, I still have them. It'd be great if Auntie would bite off a finger, then I might actually be able to get some disability. Of course, I wouldn't be able to use my computer, but, you know. Darren stole your snowflake music. He did. That jerk. Hypnoturd is light on Brie Larson. Well, you know, only so much vocal fry. And Tom says, you did promise Sci-Fi Nation a free super chat this morning, and I gave him one. To my understanding, the Packlids aren't stupid. Their language center is primitive, but they're good engineers, otherwise smart, and Geordi was just plain racist. Well, I don't know about that part of it, as far as I'm sure there's some behind-the-scenes thing about that. But let's be real. Next Generation in particular, but Star Trek as a whole has always been kind of racist. I fell asleep watching Captain Marvel 20 minutes in or so. I'll try again tomorrow. Well, better luck next time. Yeah, the problem is that Brie's performance is so wooden that it's hard to get interested. Chrono says, I am that person. Okay. So that was you trolling me? Okay. Dr. Alex is an expert when it comes to his cosmology. Anybody who watched the video could hear the earnestness of his voice. Well, and besides that, he's English. Doesn't that make him automatically smart? You should play shows in the background while you're editing so you can review more stuff. You know, here's the problem with that. I would never get anything done because I get distracted by the show. I really suffer from, I'm not diagnosed, but I feel like I suffer from attention deficit disorder. So if I have a show or music on or something, then I start, oh, let me watch that for just a minute. And then an hour later, I'm like, oh, crap. You know. You know how to mute a conversation on Twitter? You're learning. Yes, I am. Stupid drama or Herman Schmeckelbeck. Well, they're kind of synonymous, aren't they? Alex's voice gives him many credits. Yes, indeed. Death Dealer's in the house says, hey, how you doing, my friend? At the time, I hated Voyager, stupid technobabble, and Janeway acting crazy. Nowadays, it looks golden compared to New Trek. Well, I'll say this, Zabe. If you're talking about Discovery, I will agree with you. I would dare say that Picard is better than Voyager, and I know some people are going to get mad at me for that, but I you know, I gotta say, I've actually liked Picard better than a couple of shows, so, I like Picard better than Voyager, and I think I like Picard as a series, so far at least, and granted it could go downhill very quickly, but I actually as a series like Picard better than Voyager and better than TNG. I really do like Picard, and I know it sounds crazy to some people, but yeah. I never had a PhD and may have stolen it, but I still have it. Now I'm a doctor of gender studies. Whoosh, I have no PhD. But wait. Zabe says that even Voyager had some great sci-fi episodes here and there. They did. Voyager had some great episodes. The problem is that overall Voyager was kind of flat. It'd be hilarious if one of those scorpion trilobite parasites from Conspiracy comes out of Commodore O's mouth in Picard. That would be freaking awesome. Thomas says, if I remember correctly, Voyager survives several novas in the Q Civil War episode. I'd have to rewatch it. That's one of those episodes that I didn't really care about, and so I don't think I've ever rewatched it. Death Dealer says, Space Oprah, you get a starship, and you get a starship. Dr. Aaron says, do you think people live on non-Federation ships in Star Trek? Do I think people live on non-Federation ships? Sure, but not that many. That's the thing. You make it, I mean, people sound like, oh, everybody's got a starship. No! If that were the case, if starships were as common as cars, then if you were in orbit around Earth, there should be thousands and thousands and thousands of ships. Everywhere you look, there should be ships buzzing in and buzzing out. Funny, we don't see that. Rant on, brother, says Mike. Thank you, my friend. Darren says, I really hate it when you shout, mostly because I don't like it when you're agitated. You endure enough crap already. Well, thank you, Darren. Although I will tell you, when I'm shouting on my live streams, I'm generally enjoying myself. So I am in good spirits right now. You guys are cheering me up. I had a rough day, but I feel better hanging out with you guys. If it wasn't for the fact that I do have to sleep and work and stuff like that, I would keep streaming until probably 6 o'clock in the morning, but I'm not going to do that because then I won't get any sleep. Jeff says the stars seem to be too sparkly. They do kind of look sparkly. I think it's probably because of the reduced resolution. I apologize for that, but I'm not sure why it did that. I'll have to mess with the settings. And Sean puts $5 Canadian in. Thank you so much. And says, Memory Beta suggests Romulans have vestigial inner eyelids. Makes sense. How many centuries, millennia did Romulans live away from Vulcan's sun? Well, actually, that's an easily answerable question. 2,000 years is the amount of time that Vulcan and Romulans were split as of Enterprise, which means that as of TNG, you're looking at roughly 22 to 2,300 years total. And Wes Moody Webcast puts $2 in, says, still love you, Anti-Trekker. Thank you, Wes. And I remember, I think you posted on that thread, the evil, horrible thread that I was talking about earlier. And I understand if you disagree with me, and I'm totally down with you disagreeing with me, as long as we can still be friends. And that's the thing. And that's something I've said over and over and over. I don't care if you agree or disagree with me, but let's be friends. Let's be civil. Let's be, and I'm not saying we have to hold hands and sing Kumbaya like on Star Trek The Next Generation, but we can at least respect each other and respect that the other person is a human being and stop calling each other stupid just because we disagree with them. And the funny thing is that when you bring in an expert and then you want to say, oh, he doesn't know. Okay, show me your doctorate. That's all I want to say. Anyway, so Sean, so at the most 2,300 years by TNG times, because it was 2,000 years as of Enterprise. So 2,300 years. Now, also keep in mind that Vulcans have a lifespan approximately 4 times that of a human. And so based on that, then 2,300 years would be more like about 550 to 600 years in human time. So, do you think that in 500 years, you could lose an organ? And just evolutionarily speaking, the human race. Because I don't. You might be able to get people to be a centimeter taller. I liked Admiral Nechev. I loved how she dismissed Riker, the guy who saved Earth from the Borg, because he refused so many command opportunities. Yes! She was actually a very practical admiral. I liked her. Neil Normie says, what's the drama? Are you not scoring gold in the Contrarian Olympics now? Well, no. It's kind of funny. So basically what happened is this dickwad, and I'm sorry, no offense to Wes, because I know I was saying how we need to be friends, but this guy was being a dick, because the reason I say he was being a dick is because he went out and posted on Twitter an out-and-out lie about myself and Doomcock, basically saying that Doomcock unsubbed for me, and then people started saying how crazy it was that I'm advocating for a supernova that can go out 500 light years instantaneously when I never said anything of the kind. If you watch my freaking supernova video, you would know exactly what I said, and it wasn't even what I said, it was what Dr. Alex Lee's PhD in cosmology said about supernovas. If you want to try to suggest that Dr. Alex Lee's PhD in cosmology is wrong, you damn well better have a PhD to show me. But nobody does. They just say, well, I know better than him because I read it on Google. I actually had people say that. Please, people, you know what Google is? Bullshit. You have a PhD on one side, you have Google on a quick Google search on the other. And by the way, the people that were screaming about Google searches didn't even enter the correct information. So yeah, guy was a dick. But anyway, so he was trying to lie about me on Twitter. A lot of people, he got a few retweets. He got a lot of comments, and people getting all worked up about what a dick I am and stuff because I have the nerve to think Picard is okay. And Doomcock himself on his live stream shortly thereafter denounced the tweet, saying that in no way, shape, or form did he disavow me. So F you, whatever the hell your name is. I don't even care. You mean nothing to me. Well, that's not true. You're a human being made in the image of God. I love you, man, but I really wish you wouldn't have done that. Jaeger says it's okay to disagree. Friends always stick together. Agreed. Oh, you like beer. You don't know it yet. Oh, you like beer. You don't know it yet. No, I don't like beer. I'm pretty sure. I've tried. There are some beers I can tolerate, but like Henry's, if I have to have a beer, I drink Henry Weinhardt's, but assuming they're still around, but they were a big deal in Portland because that's where their brewery is. But honestly, I don't care for beer. I prefer mixed drinks, such as Romulan ale. A YouTube comment said this: why would all 10,000 evac ships be built at and launched at the same time? Wouldn't there only be a few ships at Mars at any time, most already in space during attack? Well, that's actually an interesting idea, assuming for a minute that, and it could be, we know that the rescue operations were already going on. And let me get into that just a second. But Andrew JR008 throws 10 Canadian dollars in. Thank you, Andrew. And said, am I the only person that saw Picard live at the episode 4 opener with Eleanor playing the part of Rain 2.0? It brought joy to my heart to see Picard so happy. Oh, Renee 2.0. I actually, it's kind of funny because I thought about Renee too. I should have said that in my review, but I didn't. I didn't think of it. But yeah, I kind of liked that. It was so sweet to have Picard embrace another boy kind of adopting him like that. And unfortunately, people are, what people say, oh, I thought Picard hated children and therefore it's a continuity error. It's like, yeah, Picard, and you know what? They even talked about the fact that Picard generally does not like children, but that doesn't mean he doesn't like him. But yes, I actually kind of like that, and I did think of Renee at the time. But thank you so much, Andrew. I truly do appreciate it. Every dollar counts. Every dollar matters, especially since my channel is small, unlike the great and mighty Doomcock. And yes, I'm sometimes jealous of Doomcock, but I love the man. I love him dearly, and I'm so happy for his incredible success. Same with Nerdrotic. I could not be more pleased with the fact that they have soared to the level that they have. And while I disagree with them, I still think they're great guys, and I still absolutely love them. Anyway, back to your question, Zabe. As far as the 10,000 evac ships built and launched at the same time, does it make perfect sense? No, but we do know that the rescue effort was already underway because the Romulans that were in fact there. And the way that it sounded was like after the attack, this new fleet was destroyed that was under construction, and Starfleet said, screw it, we're out. And that's what pissed off Picard. Let's see. SC says, I think Doomcock is actually funny. Shame he has to spit so much vitriol, hyperbole, and fake rumors. Well, here's the thing. I understand Doomcock, and this is something that people really need to understand. Doomcock created an incredible and, dare I say, iconic caricature in Doomcock. And, of course, Harvey Cthulhu. And brilliant idea, right? And plus, it completely protects his own identity. Nobody knows what he really looks like or who he really is. Brilliant. And so when Doomcock engages in hyperbole and vitriol and fake rumors, guess what? It's a freaking character. If you are seriously, and by the way, Bo throws $2 in, Enterprise had no bad admirals. Yeah, Enterprise just had dick Vulcans. So that's, you see, that's the problem. The Vulcans got into Starfleet and that made them all dicks. That's what happened. But, you know, I mean, they had the one admiral, I can't remember his name now, that was in the entire series pretty much. But you're right. I think Enterprise didn't really have any corruption in the upper echelons other than the Vulcans themselves. However, the interesting thing is that the Vulcans were dicks all the way up to the Vulcan Science Council. So, yeah. Anyway, but back to the Doomcock thing. So when, you know, people get upset because he's talking hyperbole and fake rumors and stuff, he's a effing cartoon character, right? If you are getting serious news from Doomcock, you misunderstand his channel. He is an entertainer, and he's a brilliant one. Now, yes, he deals with real rumors and stuff like that, but some of them turn out to be fake. So what? He just enjoys doing what he's doing. It's for fun. And if you take him too seriously, then that's a problem. And, you know, that's my 2 cents on Doomcock. I love the guy. Even though I don't like Doomcock's opinions on Picard, I still regularly hang out on his Hangout-style live streams when he has no topic and is just enjoying himself. Yeah, and the man is a brilliant singer. Whew! Man, you hear him sing, I swear. You know what would be my ultimate fantasy for a theme song for this channel is Aberjam writing the lyrics, Piano Dean doing the music, and Doomcock singing. Holy crap, is that guy good. And Ensign Ricky, my very own favorite ensign in the lower decks, throws $5 in and says, the thing that gets me now is with all these new ships are outfitted fully with holo projectors, instant army, instant walls, instant weapon turrets. You know, that's actually an interesting idea. And I wonder, you know, like, for example, if Rios's ship ever got boarded, would the holographic projectors be able to, like, mess with people like that? That's actually an interesting thought. And so I think that's interesting, and that could be a thing, and it wouldn't be a bad idea. But as far as instant army, keep in mind that you would have to have holographic projectors for your army to work. Let's see, where was I? I would drink a femme drink like a wine spritzer or a green appletini if it meant getting time to meet Doomcock. Oh, heck yeah. I'll drink beer. I don't even like beer, so yeah. Miguel Pereira says, Dave Cullen says Picard has been super boring. Do you agree? No, I do not. And I haven't seen Dave Cullen's review on Picard, or reviews, I presume, but I disagree. I don't think that Picard has been boring. I actually think it's been a pretty good show. I'm not saying a perfect show, because the thing that drags it down for me is the style of the writing. The style of the writing is completely wrong for Trek. However, I've really enjoyed the show. And Wes throws $5 at, my goodness, you guys are generous today. Thank you so much. Says, my issue with Picard is that they made Picard a doddering old man that gets disrespected by all, and Rafi is an offensive stereotype that's also dumb. Okay, so let's take those one at a time. Picard being a daughter, and by the way, Professor McCoy's Pop Culture Reviews also puts $2 in and says, hello there. Hello, Professor, and thank you, my friend. So Wes, first of all, Picard being a doddering old man. He's 95 years old, so he is, in fact, a doddering old man, and so there's actually a certain amount of logic there. And then Darren puts oh my gosh, what is wrong? Darren puts in $5 It's got to be the apocalypse. 2 content creators for this channel super chatted this channel in the same stream. I swear I'm going to just collapse. And says, I've been playing around with the idea of an ESH, emergency security hologram, for a while now. A more practical use of holograms than EMH. I agree. That's actually a brilliant idea. And I'm not ignoring you, me. I'm not ignoring you. I swear. If I haven't gotten to it yet, I'll get to your chat. Assuming you put @Anti-Trekker in it. So Wes, back to what you were saying. Picard being a doddering old man, he is a doddering old man. He's 95 years old, and as far as him getting disrespected by people, and I know this is something that's a little controversial that I'm willing to say, but Picard was an arrogant prick for most of his career. And I'm not saying I don't like the character, but it is a fact that Jean-Luc Picard was an arrogant prick through most of his career. And he's getting his comeuppance, basically. And I don't have a problem with that. I really don't, because to me, it's about damn time. Because, he's the one that's sitting there saying, well, in the future, we don't need money because everyone just does what they want to better themselves and enrich their lives. Which is really freaking easy to say when you're the guy that owns the mansion on the vineyard. Not so easy to say when you're the person living in the trailer smoking space weed. So I actually do appreciate the fact that Picard's arrogance and Picard's stuffiness and Picard's basically just being Picard is being called out. So I do not have a problem with that. Now, as for Rafi, Rafi being an offensive stereotype. Now, I know Bird of Prey's talked about this quite a bit. Like, oh, you make the black woman a space crack addict, basically. So, interesting idea, but I don't necessarily buy that just yet. Now, as far as the whole snake leaf thing, you could make an argument that why is it the black woman happens to be the drug addict? What is she, a stand-in for Whitney Houston or something? But at the same time, what character would you prefer that they have smoked the space weed? Now, I think they should have ditched the space weed. I think the space weed is a bad idea. I think, but as far as Rafi's character, as far as her being pissy about what happened to her after Picard, in his arrogance and hubris, quit Starfleet without taking into account the fact that, that was going to affect her as well. So, and holy crap, now Mr. Miles puts a super chat in. It is the end of the world. Thank you so much, Miles. It says, do I count as a content creator on this channel? Indeed you do, Mr. Miles. Indeed you do, my friend. And thank you. I truly do appreciate it. I wouldn't be sitting here without you, man. And this bridge is brought to you by Mr. Miles. I may have found the original picture, but all the blinking lights and I love this, the hologram right there of me and the view screen there and the hypno-turd over there. And by the way, you can see the moving lights now. All that Mr. Miles' work. Brilliantly done. It looks awesome. It's seamless. It looks like I'm actually sitting on the frickin' bridge. So thank you, Mr. Miles. This is so awesome. I can't thank you enough. So, if we take away the space weed, is Rafi really just an offensive stereotype, or is she an interesting character? I think you take away the space weed and she's a more interesting character. I think that her anger with Picard is justified, just as the Romulans' anger with Picard is justified, because Picard abandoned her for 15 years, well, 14, and same thing with the Romulans. And when they really needed him. And because basically, here's the thing. Picard has been spoon-fed success since he was a child. He was a child of privilege, and he didn't know it. He thought that everybody could just have everything they wanted, and money didn't matter, and you would just do whatever you wanted to do to enrich your lives. And now he's getting a little bit of a dose of reality. Because you know what? Somebody's still got to scrub the toilets. Somebody's still got to do the crappy work. And sometimes people get fired. and sometimes it's Picard's fault. So the fact that he has been basically sitting back for the last 14 years and now people are pissed, I think that's bold writing, to be honest with you. And not in some stupid Ryan Johnson kind of way, because this writing actually makes a little bit of sense. Now, I understand if you don't like it, because here's the problem with the flip side of that. Picard is a great personal hero to a lot of people. And so to a lot of people, they see Picard basically being in the wrong as being as bad as Luke Skywalker from The Last Jedi. I get that. And I understand that if you are a big Picard fan, how you might be offended by that. And I don't hold that against you if that's how you feel. But for me, I would feel that way if they did that to Kirk, you know. But Picard was always a flawed character to me, and this show is highlighting that flaw. And by the way, it's not like they didn't do that a little bit with Kirk, because in Star Trek VI, we found out Kirk is a straight-out racist, and he had to deal with it. And he did deal with it. And that was brilliant. That was some of Kirk's best moments, was him being... And even back to the original series, some of Kirk's best moments were when he was wrong. Not when he's always right. Anyway, Darth Revan says, yes, I am a Romulan. I will infiltrate your stream, wear sunglasses, and you will be with the angels. Click and hold. Still pew pew. I'm Darth Raven. Welcome to my channel. Uh-oh, I'm getting a little nervous now. Zabe says, Romulans and Vulcans aren't exactly the same as it is. Romulans have lived on a darker planet for years. I wouldn't put it past the Star Trek writers to say Romulans don't have the eyelid. I wouldn't put it past the writers to do it, but I think it would be silly. That's just my humble opinion. I think it would be silly for them to argue that they somehow lost an organ of their body in 2,300 years. That just sounds absolutely insane to me, knowing what little I know of evolutionary theory. And yes, Romulans and Vulcans aren't exactly alike, but remember in the Enterprise incident, it was very, very difficult for Chekhov to spot Spock on a Romulan ship because the difference between the two is so slight. And that's actually, that to me is, if the difference is so slight that you can barely detect it on sensors, then I really doubt that something as significant as a different organ would be what, I mean, because if only one being on the entire Romulan flagship had an inner eyelid, couldn't have Chekhov searched for that?
Hello, world.
Just putting that out there. And the Fed puts $5 Australian in. Thank you so much. And says, I admit... Wait. I forgot. Australian alert.
Oi, it's my Aussie accent. It's the dingoes. We have to worry about the dingoes. And the ruse.
Okay, we'll make you suffer. So thank you, Fed. Puts $5 Australian, and I have to admit, I do agree with you about Picard being arrogant, but one could make the case that he is so because he is objectively better than the average. Well, that's actually an interesting point, because Picard is an intellectual. He is incredibly talented as a diplomat. He's not without skill, all right? I'm not suggesting that Picard is, just pure arrogance, like that's his defining trait. But it's also true that people that have superior skill are more likely to be arrogant. And I'll be honest with you. I know that sometimes people think I'm arrogant, right? Because because I extrude confidence in what I say, and sometimes when I'm wrong, I don't like to admit it. Well, that's just a human trait, and that's one of the reasons that I have Mr. Miles around, because Mr. Miles knocks me down a peg or two every freaking day. You should see some of our freaking Skype conversations, but and I need that, and I want that, because I don't want to be as arrogant as some of the people on Twitter seem to think that I am. I really don't want to ever be that, because to me, we're all friends here, and if I start thinking myself as better than anybody else, that's a major problem. But as far as Picard is concerned, he has superior skill. I'm not denying that at all. But here's the thing. Superior skill combined with privilege, and I'm not saying privilege because white privilege, I'm saying privilege because he obviously grew up in a wealthy family. They have a freaking mansion in the south of France. He is a wealthy person, right? Because one thing that will never go down in value is real estate. Because especially in Europe, right? Okay, it's not going to go down in value. So having a vineyard in the south of France, the man is freaking rich. He's got privilege and he's got competence. Those two combined breed arrogance. Absolutely. Kiss says anti-trekker is always vigilant. I assume you mean vigilant? No, I don't know. Vigilant? That's why I like him. Well, thank you, I guess. Holy smokes, you need booze. You're slurring your words. Am I slurring my words? Oh, crap. I've been drinking too much. I need to stop. Darth Herman says vigilant is a brand of toilet paper used in Beagle Bites made out of the finest sandpaper in North Korea. Wow. Auntie lives! Yes, Auntie did move. Good job, Auntie. They're all very happy you moved. But I will say this. If I'm slurring my speech a little, I apologize, but I've gotten just enough of this in me to where I am feeling a little bit less pain, so that's a good thing. But that does mean that I've probably hit my limit for while I'm streaming. Evening, be sure to tag Antrick if you want to make sure he reads the message. Thank you. Yes, please do. I appreciate it when you guys let people know that because, yeah, sometimes I miss that. And you were talking to SSM 100 who said, I found you by the way of Hate Fest on Midnight's Edge. So glad to find someone who has a nuanced opinion. Well, thank you, my friend. And first of all, let me say this. Everybody on that panel, everybody that was on that panel, I have nothing but respect for. And I've said this a million times, so all of my old subscribers are going to get sick of me saying this, but Mecha Random, good friend, I was promoting her channel when her channel was tiny compared to mine. Anna, that Star Wars girl, I don't know her as well as the rest of the panel, but I have a lot of respect for her, and she's got a great channel. Matthew, the one guy, he's the one guy I really didn't know, but he seemed like a nice enough guy, and he sent me a message after the stream just saying how he enjoyed talking to me. He was a nice guy. I liked him. And as far as the guys at Midnight's Edge, Tom and Rob, they've been friends of mine for a while. I actually go to Midnight's Edge after dark. I'm on their stream every Wednesday night. So, yes, I am something of an anomaly on their show because they let me on even though I disagree with them almost all the time. But I think it's because we're actual friends, and yeah. But thank you. Well, back to Thomas says, stop feeding anti-Karoga garbage. Well, you know, Karoga garbage is cheap, though. And Auntie seems to like garbage. Auntie is a hologram. Emergency dog hologram. Yes. I'm waiting for the emergency dog hologram. Darth Herman says, Auntie Trigger, does Auntie have a favorite teddy? You should get a knitted teddy of yourself. It would be hilarious if you had it saying, welcome to the Anti-Trigger, give me money. You know what? I will tell you. I seriously considered doing this the other day. We were at the store at a Walmart, and the Walmart that we shop at now has a Build-A-Bear in the Walmart. So you can actually go into the Build-A-Bear that's in the Walmart and get your Build-A-Bear. I seriously considered getting this just so I could send it to him. They have a unicorn Build-A-Bear, and I was going to get the unicorn Build-A-Bear, and then you can put the little voice modulator in it, and when you squeeze it, have it go, I'm DJ Odyssey! I just thought that would be hilarious, but yeah. You okay, Auntie? She's diligently sleeping, but you give her a Karogan. I don't think it's a Beagle Bite. I think this is a Beagle Bite. You want a Beagle Bite? There you go. Hedonism Bird is still the best. Yes, Hedonism Bird, right there. I love Hedonism Bird. Sounds like Doomcock kind of like Picard Episode 4 as schlocky sci-fi, just not Trek. I haven't seen his review of Episode 4 yet. And I understand he doesn't like it as much as me, and I'm perfectly cool with that. I would say you and Doomcock are like Linus Torvalds and Stallman. One is a zealot who keeps his creators honest. The other is a pragmatist who helps balance the two extremes. Interesting. I don't know who those two people are, but I think thank you. SC says, peace out. Gonna check out a new War of the Worlds series. See if it will break my childhood or whatnot. All right, good luck, SC. Have a good one. I would call her Plywood. Not sure who her is. Ensign Ricky says, English accent. Smarter. Well, it kind of works. Chrono says, without the layers. Okay. The Packlids from Samaritan Snare are another example of the hubris and arrogance of Starfleet we're talking about. They totally took advantage of Starfleet's assumptions about them. That's true. And that is very, very true, my friend. So thank you. And Mercer throws $2 in. Thank you so much, Mercer. Good to see you, my friend. Says, Crawford, if someone asks you if you're a god, you say, yes! Indeed, my friend. Indeed. It sounds like you're in a Ghostbusters mood tonight. Darth Run says, LOL, Bree's acting so wooden she keeps getting tossed into a fire for heat. Actually, here's the funny thing about that, Darth, and it's 100% true. Brie Larson can act. It's not her fault that Captain Marvel's so wooden. It's the director did that on purpose. She wanted to make her stoic because making her stoic makes her strong. Wrong idea. You know what? You don't make a woman strong by making her not a woman. And women are not naturally stoic. That is more of a male trait. And then the idea, and this is the absolute hubris and sexism of Hollywood, is that they think that the way to make a woman strong is to make her into a damn man. Which is wrong. And Fed puts another fake Australian fiver in there. I'm just kidding, they're not fake, and I appreciate it. But that, you know what that means.
Oi, it's my Aussie accent. It's the dingoes. We have to worry about the dingoes.
Thank you, Fed. I truly appreciate it. It says, bit more for you. Torvalds was the guy who built the core for Linux. Oh, okay. Stallman is probably the voice for open source software. He's complicated. Gotcha. Thank you for filling. Man, see, this is why I say I hope that you guys don't think I'm an arrogant prick, because I didn't know any of that. And Mercer puts another $2 in and says, I'm right in the middle of something, Ray. Definitely in a Ghostbusters mood. But yes, Darren, you are 100% right. That is, that's the hubris of Starfleet in the Picard era. Revan says, LOL, I already read that. Dreamer out there, says Antrix. So what happened with Doomcock? Actually, Doomcock showed himself to be an absolute gentleman today. Had some dick on Twitter basically say that Doomcock unsubbed from me because of my horrific opinions about Star Trek Picard. I tweeted Doomcock in a direct message asking him, what is this true? Doomcock then on a live stream minutes later told everybody that basically believed that to go F themselves. So thank you, Doomcock, if you ever see this, which I know you don't have time to watch my live streams, but I wish you did. But hey, your success is freaking awesome. So yes, Doomcock was an absolute gentleman. And yeah, he and I are friends, and that's why we're friends right there. Have a great night, Ant Trigger. Take it easy, Night Breeze. Fed says both are necessary for improvement, and I compare you both to the best versions of these blokes. Well, thank you. I truly, truly appreciate that. And you know what? I am not saying, you know, and despite what Alexander likes to say about, we're going to war with the Phantom Menace. First of all, Alexander, if you ever see this, and you're not here tonight, but I can still consider myself a part of the Phantom Menace. So I'm not going to war with myself. And Mercer puts another $2 in and says, what about the Twinkie? Yes, another great line from a great, great movie before the modern crap that we've gotten out of Hollywood. Thank you again, Mercer. I truly appreciate it. And I don't know why you're giving me all your money, but I truly, truly appreciate it. And yes, that's a big Twinkie. Anyway, the oh yeah, so I'm not saying we should go to war with the Phantom Menace, and yes, I poke at them about the hatred, but you know what? That's my job, I think, as far as my little corner of the Phantom Menace is to try and poke at the rest of the Phantom Menace, saying, "Oh, yo, go, you guys are going a little too far," and that way, hopefully, I can make a little bit of an impact there and make sure that we don't go too far. And they'll fight me, and I'm perfectly okay with that, but hopefully, deep down, maybe I can soften them up just enough so that they don't go off the deep end. That's all I want. I don't want them to go crazy. I don't want them to lose it. I love these guys, and, you know, I want them to see that there is good in Picard. They can rail on Discovery all day long. I'm totally cool with that. Miguel, because I can't say your first name, says, bring back episodic Trek. I don't think episodic versus serialized is the problem. I think the biggest problem in Trek right now is the contemporary writing. However, I do think Picard would work better as an episodic show. But let's be real, that's not the way of streaming, unfortunately, because they want you to be hooked to watch next week. If you want to use those qualifiers for racism, I say TOS is more racist because it started the grand tradition of applying racial traits to species and treating them based on it. Well, okay, fair point. And so, yeah. And Bo throws $2 in, says, Twitter drama with Claw, sip, sip.
Hello, world.
I think that one went over my head, my friend, but thank you so much for the $2. Maybe my brain is just shutting down from too much Romulan ale. Damn, this Romulan ale is good. Anyway, but here's the thing. You're right that TOS did kind of start that, but and that's definitely a fair point, but I think TNG doubled down on it. And then Andrew throws another 5 Canadian bucks in there. Wow, you guys keep this up. I just might stay on here all night. Says, did you ever mention the 3 things that you didn't like about episode 4 the other night? I can't remember if you mentioned this. I did, in fact, mention the 3 things I did not like. The 3 things I did not like, number 1 was the contemporary writing, the F-bombs, and bite me and that kind of thing. I don't like the contemporary writing in Picard overall. That's a problem with the entire series. Number 2, what was my second thing? I'm trying to remember. There was the contemporary writing. There was something else that's eluding me right now. And then the number 3 one was the sword fight scene. I did not like the fact that Picard was able to deflect a single blow from a Romulan with a sword. A Romulan is 3 times stronger than a human, and Picard is an old and feeble human. So the idea that he could deflect a blow, no. Not buying that one bit. And so I did not like that. And so, yes, and that's the thing. I can definitely, if you've seen my nitpick videos, I can rip the crap out of stuff I love. And I know Captain Redneck doesn't believe I'm ever going to do it, but I'm actually going to start ripping apart some TOS stuff after I finish Picard. Wes Moody Webcast says, also they made Data's daughters sluts. Well, to be fair, Wes, only one of them is a confirmed slut. The other one, we don't know how long she's been going out with Mr. Weird Eyes. They could have been dating for 6 years for all we know. But as far as, yeah, the one that hooked up with the Romulan dude, yeah, that was a little slutty. I'm not going to lie. But I don't think that you couldn't say sluts, but you could definitely argue that the one is a slut. All right, here we go. Back to the chat. Darren says the sliding on the floor in your stocking feet scene was the last episode of Picard made me gag. Roxanne was right. Yeah, that was bad. And I think if I remember correctly now, the second thing on my list was actually everything that takes place on the Borg cube. I agree about Voyager. It had some much optional that they let go to waste to just stick it to safe TNG formula. Voyager should have been what Battlestar Galactica 2004 was. And in fact, that's why Ronald D. Moore quit Star Trek. He was on the Voyager crew for a very brief time, and he was like, oh, screw this noise. And then he went and made Battlestar Galactica, and he said in one of his podcasts that this is what he wanted Voyager to be. And that could have been freaking awesome. SSM says, Trek, it's refreshing to find someone who actually watched the new Trek and not whine like a child about how it's not their Trek. Well, here's the thing. And this is a tough one for some people to swallow. I get that Star Trek is going to evolve as it moves forward. I just don't want it to be stupid like Discovery. I want it to evolve in a natural and organic way, and I think Picard does that. I'm actually working on a script for a video to demonstrate exactly why what we see Starfleet as in Picard makes perfect sense, but also why it makes no sense in Discovery. But yeah, that's the thing. I don't mind Star Trek changing, but it needs to change in a positive, not positive meaning everything needs to get better, but positive as in a natural and organic way. Says, I'm still on the fence with Picard. I think it's mostly execution of the story. I absolutely hate the stuff on the Borg Cube and the Romulan guy and his sister and Data's daughter. Yeah, the Borg Cube stuff, it's funny, and I said this on the Midnight's Edge stream. The Borg Cube stuff is the worst stuff in the episodes, in the series so far. Everything on that Borg Cube has been the worst part of the series, and it should be the best part of the series, and yet it's not. Go figure. Renegade, if everyone had a ship, evacuation would have been a piece of cake. Exactly. But people are saying, you see, they should have been... and that's the thing. People are arguing things that they just don't freaking know. They're pretending that they know crap that there's no reference to. Everybody has a warp-capable ship. Didn't you know? Okay, show me the episode where they say everybody has a warp-capable ship. Darren says, Antrekker's just venting. That's a good thing. I do vent a lot, and I enjoy hanging out with you guys and getting these chances to vent. My God, I'm 40 minutes behind. I'm not going to get caught up tonight. I agree that warp tech shouldn't be too commonplace in the Star Trek universe. I always assumed that the civilians would get slower warp ships, like maybe warp 4 at the most. I don't even think warp ships are common for civilians at all. I think that you might get the occasional wealthy person, and that's why think about this. If everybody had a warp ship, why the hell would Picard need to book a ship? You know, and by the way, why would Picard need to book a ship at all? Because yeah. It wouldn't be necessary, right? And I apologize because I'm so far behind. The chat jumped ahead and I can't scroll all the way back. So if I missed your chat, I am truly sorry. But Ozzy said Hedonism Bird is the best choice. Indeed. Zabe says, I'm in the middle of watching the bonding TNG. Picard is very good at helping the child in mourning. Well, and that's the thing. I'm not saying Picard is 100% bad. Don't get me wrong. I'm really not. But I am just saying that he was kind of an arrogant prick. And Captain Trek throws a couple bucks, says, Mead is on. Wow, at this hour? Tom must have had nothing to do tonight. Renegade says, 10,000 ships built at the same time. Historical note, Carthage had a superior naval capabilities to Rome due to mass-producing flat-pack ships over time. So when the war was, ... declared, it could be assembled overnight. Did not know that, but now you know. And knowing is half the battle. Darren says, Gary Nerdotic was talking on his stream today, on his stream, how they have to start getting more positive because they, the Phantom Menace, are winning. He must have heard us talking about them. And Neo Normie says, nope, you're wrong. Enterprise had Section 31, which is a shadow government, a.k.a. upper echelon corruption. That's true. That is true. Section 31 was present in Enterprise, so Very good point, my friend. Oh, and Midnight's Edge is actually here. It says, no, I'm right here. Okay. Well, good to see you, my friend. And Andrew throws 5 Canadian bucks in and says, I think people who say everyone has a warp ship believes that utopia for one planet Earth is utopia for all. Time to force feed some DS9. I agree. I absolutely agree. And that's the thing. I think that the idea that everybody has a warp-capable ship is silly. It's like saying that everybody has a yacht. And I could just hear Tom right now. I can see the smoke rising from his ears as I'm saying this. But I'm sorry, not everybody has a yacht. If everybody had a freaking warp-capable ship, then Picard wouldn't need to hire a ship at all because he'd just get on his own damn ship. I see Doomcock as an entertainer, but there are others who act like they're stating 100% fact. Well, depending on the individuals, I will say this. Most of the people in the Fandom Menace that I talk about, namely people like Tom, who's here with us right now, Doomcock, Gary, Mecha, those guys, they almost always will say, this is a rumor, so take it with a grain of salt. And as long as they say that before they start talking about it, I'm okay with it.
Hello, world.
Edson Ricky says, I doubt science fiction would let regular civs... I doubt Starfleet would let regular civs own starships. I doubt it as well, but apparently some people disagree. I mentioned the historical note because it's possible that the Federation has built fat-packed ships for planet-wide emergencies that could be assembled quickly. That is a possibility. We don't really know the details of that yet. Maybe that'll unfold as the series progresses. Since so far every episode has started with a flashback of 14 years ago, I'm hoping they continue with that because I'm liking that part of the show, actually. What am I supposed to be upset about? I have to pay attention first. Oh, you weren't paying attention, so never mind. We're just talking about fluffy unicorns. No, don't worry about it. Thomas says, the dumbest thing in Picard is an emergency hospitality hologram. That does, I don't mind there being a hospitality hologram, but calling it an emergency hospitality hologram was kind of stupid. Midnight said, you like unicorns? Good, then you should rewind this. Man, I can't talk. I am slurring my speech a little bit. Rewind the stream. A hollow army would make sense since the Fed's biggest weakness during the Dominion War was manpower shortages. Yeah. England also does not like Raffi. I understand, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying she's a great character, but I don't think she's as bad as some people make her out to be. The Fed puts another $4 Australian, and you know what it means when there's Australian dollars in the house.
Oi, it's my Aussie accent. It's the dingoes. We have to worry about the dingoes and the ruse.
Thank you, Chancellor. By the way, Tom, you really should get that for Rob, that bird going, it's the dingoes, whatever. So if you ever get any Australian money in a super chat, you could play that. The Fed puts in 4 and says, ships are an investment you have to maintain. Exactly. So I don't think that everybody would have one. I think that, honestly, owning a warp-capable ship would be like owning a yacht. All right? It's not something that's commonplace. And in fact, the fact that Picard goes to Starfleet Command and says, I need a warp-capable ship. He specifically asked for a warp-capable ship. So, yeah, I don't buy the idea that everybody's got them. Jeff says, good night, everyone. Have a good one, Jeff. Wes Moody says, I have a lot more to... Haha. Uh-oh. Me says, fine, ignore me. I didn't ignore you. See, I just read that, so I couldn't have ignored you if I had just read that. Or did I? If I did ignore you, I was not intentional. Darth Revan says, they actually done with what I always said in Picard, holographic quarter of your home and possibly live images of your family and a hologram at home so you could have contact far away. Actually, it kind of makes sense. If you think about it, it would be a natural progression of holographic technology, is that you would expect to see eventually that everything on the ship would just be a hologram, because that way you just make it look like whatever the hell you want it to. Darth Rim says, Anti-Trigger, you're a doddering old man. LOL. Ha ha ha. Yeah, you're funny. Chrono says, peeps that donate aren't asking for super chats. We need to fix this atrocity. Or we could not. Red Dwarf went one step higher than Star Trek with a holo ship with a crew of holograms. Well, maybe we'll get that in the future. And some people are speculating that Rios is actually a hologram. Kay says, hey, nice backdrop. I love this backdrop, and Mr. Miles made all the blinky lights and stuff, so Mr. Miles, thank you again. Wes Moody says, why didn't Raffi call Picard in 14 years? The phone works both ways, and they established she has no problem finding people. Maybe because she was just, like, so angry that she was like, no, I'm not going to call him. And you know what? That's called being human. Okay, I'm off to bed. Jolan F you. Gotcha. Have a good one, Darren. Zabe says, picture, you mean you don't really have a bridge set? No, I'm really on the bridge. You can't. Yeah, I'm really here. 6:25 a.m. I'm giving up the ghost. I'm off to bed. All right, Darth Revan, thank you for hanging out with me, my friend, even though I know you've been gone for a while because you left that comment a half an hour ago and I'm so far behind. That means me think of how Picard was portrayed in the series versus the movies, in particular Insurrection, where it basically defies the Federation over the Baku. Yeah. If there is space weed, is there space hops for your favorite beverage, space beer? I don't know because I don't drink space beer, and I never will drink space beer, but I will drink Romulan ale. Jolan True. I'd say anything is better than Voyager. It only had 7 of 9 going for that crappy show. Well, I would say this. Voyager is better than Discovery by a mile. A couple of miles. For you to look at later, apparently there have been many supernovas in Trek. Oh, interesting. But I'm sure that they're scientifically accurate. I remember the Beta Niobe supernova, but that one we don't really know the extent, only that the Enterprise warped away at the last second. I remember that one, though. That's the first thing that popped up in the link. Where did Picard get the money to pay to enter the shields? Rios also gets paid. It's why Picard gets a room with holo projectors. I don't know. And I'm sure Picard has some holo porn. I mean, let's just be real about that. Picard wouldn't have had any more privilege than anyone else. There are no rich or poor on Earth. I can't grok this version of Star Trek. Oh, you mean a slightly more realistic version where someone who has a effing mansion is rich? Because here's the thing. If Picard isn't rich, how does he have an effing mansion? Before you say, well, it's in his family. Because his family was rich. Kronos says, Auntie moved. That is all. Yes, she does move every once in a while. Hunter says, do you think it's because Picard was portrayed too perfectly in the first place? There was no shades of gray where there should have been with all humans. Yes, absolutely. Picard should have shown some flaws, like, you know, and in fact, Dale just said, like, Kirk was a flawed human being, like all the rest of us, and more relatable. Exactly. Kirk was wrong every now and then, and some of his best moments were when he was wrong, and then people comparing him to Adama, indeed. Picard was also a bad character that, to this day, I wish they had got rid of him and replaced him with Riker. Well, I was one of those people that when Best of Both Worlds happened, I was hoping for Captain Riker from that point on. You like doing that, don't you, mate? I don't know what, so I can't answer that, because if I do, then I could be saying something horrible. Why would Raffi get relieved of duty just because Picard resigned? Why didn't she get another posting? Did Picard pull strings to make her XO? Well, I don't know the backstory of that. I'm sure Bird will tell you all about it because he loves the comic book so much. However, just from what we saw in the series, I would guess, and it's just an educated guess, that it's because Picard and Raffi were obviously the only two people in Starfleet that were super hardcore advocating for Romulans. Notice that when Picard came out of the office and said they don't want to do it, Raffi had 8,000 contingencies for how to get the Romulans off of Romulus. And Picard was like, no, they said no. And, you know, so I think that basically Starfleet Command knew that if Picard stepped down, they needed to get rid of Raffi because she was just going to be a pain in their ass. I just watched Measure of Man and thought it was funny when the JAG officer judge told Picard he was always a pompous ass. And she was right. And Chrono says, Galron is dead. Sorry, bird of prey. That is true. That is true. Thank you, Chancellor. Mr. Miles says, Picard is my favorite captain, as you know, but Picard being wrong is my favorite moment for a lot of Picard fans. This line must be drawn here, as he argued against destroying the Enterprise. I actually still wish that Sisko had been in that scene. I think that would have been better. But, you know, that was the breaking point for Picard in that movie, which was a good moment. I'll give you that. It just was kind of out of character. Because the whole, I will make them pay. I know a lot of people say, well, PTSD. Well, why didn't he have PTSD in all the years after Best of Both Worlds? It was in season 3 that he was abducted. That's another problem I have with Star Trek. If scanners can detect races and species, why do crew members just wear ears or foreheads? The crew would need to complete DNA conversion. Because quantum. I've always waited for someone to shoot Picard as he makes a speech. That's bad. Did you not say you were sorry today? If so, good job. I don't think I did say I'm sorry. Sorry about that. The Neo-Normie says, hey, Trigger, why don't you stream with the less angry Chud Trek fans like Trek Yards? Actually, I've been me and Captain Foley have been trying to work out a time to stream together. We just haven't managed to make it work. You're knowledgeable and eloquent. That is not arrogance. Thank you, Dale. But I need to be careful about taking compliments like that because that would make me arrogant. But thank you. I do appreciate it. And Andrew JR008, which I don't understand that name, Andrew. I really don't. Why Andrew JR008? Are you trying to say that you're Andrew Jr. and you're a British Secret Service agent? Anyway, throws 10 Canadian dollars in there, which doesn't make sense for you to be a 00. It says, about the transport of both Elnor and Picard. Maybe they had Elnor's transport signature from him getting beamed down as a child. Raffi knows why Picard went down there to the planet. No, that I will tell you, that is a genuine flaw in that's a plot hole right there. I'm guessing, and I don't know, but I'm guessing there's probably a deleted scene or a deleted line or something where he was like hit his communicator and said, Raffi, I've got to recruit John. You remember that Legolas guy? Yeah, he's coming with me. You know, they needed to have something, because for him to just like, no, and then they beam them both up, why didn't they just beam up Picard? If Picard at least, I mean, and that's the biggest problem right there. It's like, Picard, how many times do they just go, 2 to beam up? Instead of, now! Another moment, Picard's weakness really stood out in a good way. The 4 Lights episode, which in the end he admitted he saw 5. Yeah, actually, that was probably one of my absolute favorite Picard moments, is when he admitted that he was broken by the torture. Because, and I'll tell you, that was actually a great Picard moment, and better than most people realize, because of the fact that it said that everything Picard said to the Romulan torturer, who I can't remember his name, which is a shame because he did an incredible performance, but everything Picard said was wrong when he was saying that torture was ultimately an ineffective means of extracting information. No, Picard was on the brink. If it wasn't for the fact that they had struck a deal and Picard was being released, he could have gotten the information from him. Well, Auntie didn't move while you pet her, Auntie. Are you sure she's alive? Yes, that's why I check every now and then, just to make sure she's not cold to the touch. So, yeah. You're still alive, right, Auntie? Right? You still alive? All right. But you see now, we get a beagle bite. She'll move for a beagle bite. I think it's more likely Commodore O was wearing sunglasses to try to be intimidating. I know that just sounds so stupid, but that's probably the truth. Your review of the last episode of STD was the best. Well, thank you. Wait till STD Season 3. I can. I'm enjoying the White Claw myself. Ain't no law when you're drinking White Claw. I've never had White Claw. Don't even know what it is. Corrogan garbage is nuclear waste. I don't think it's nuclear waste. I think it's just beagle bites. Why do you give anti-Krogan dog treats that are made from beagles? Well, they're not made from beagles. They're called beagle bites because you're supposed to feed them to beagles, right? Hold on, let me check. Yeah, beagle bites. The natural bite for beagles. Made by beagles for beagles. I heard Build-A-Bear is getting a Baby Yoda. Well, we'll see what they do with that. Ralph says, if two people agree on everything, one of them is unnecessary. Winston Churchill. That is a brilliant saying, and I've said that a million times, and I didn't know it was Winston Churchill. I like the Midnight's Edge or Nerdrotic. Have you on, even if you disagree. Sometimes they help me see how wrong you actually are. Kidding, I joke, but I like different opinions. Well, that's the thing. I do actually enjoy being on Midnight's Edge. I don't know if Tom's still here, but I do enjoy being on their show every Wednesday. I enjoy when Nerdrotic has me on the occasional Friday Night Tights. I've only been on Doomcock's channel once, but I would love to go back anytime you wanted to, because I do think that it's important for us to argue a little bit and to disagree, because if we don't, if we are a monolithic organization, we are everything that the enemy says we are. Wes says, episode 4 is the best Picard so far. I tend to agree with you on that one. Neo Normie says, is Kuroga part of the Kashani Star? No. Kuroga is not a part of any star empire because Kuroga cannot pilot a ship out of the atmosphere without crashing. And even if they did get out of the atmosphere, they would crash into the first asteroid they came across. I got attacked on Twitter for 2 days because I said they made Data's daughter sluts. Well, that's what you get for saying that. Corona says, I was talking about Brie Larson being plywood without the layers. Wow, just wow. Well, yeah, but the thing is, like I said, it's the director. It's not Brie's fault. I mean, Brie is Brie, and I'm not defending Brie as a person because I can't stand her political opinions, but really, as an actress, she is capable of delivering a good performance. I've seen it. Andrew throws another $2 Canadian and says, I thought beagles exclusively ate cheese. Well, clearly not. Because she does love beagle bites. Beagle bites, the treat made for beagles by beagles. See? She likes them. Whatever happened to I'll buy that for $1? I need to get that set up again. I haven't played that in a long time. Please bring back the other $1 quick chat. I know. I need to figure out a way. I'm going to do that. I am, but I need to figure out some stuff as far as StreamYards. Is it StreamYards or Streamlabs? Streamlabs. Tell Antrick about the Twinkie. Carl says, wow, is not able to catch up with the chats. Yeah, I'm definitely not catching up today. So I apologize for that because I'm going to wrap it up in a few minutes here, guys, but I'm not catching up. Surf says, you have a little arrogance to get on YouTube. You have to have a little arrogance to get on YouTube and talk to hundreds of people every day. Well, that's true, but remember when I first started, I was talking to ones of people every day, and that's how everybody starts. And so, yeah. And Midnight's Edge says, the only thing you impact is a colon. That was good. I'll give you that. Ralph says, you can still fight when you're drunk. Roy Fokker. Your opinions and positions are needed. Welcome to the Fandom Menace. Thank you. I do appreciate it, Judicon. I try to, and I know that sometimes people think I'm a dick, but, you know, yeah, it is what it is. You are a lightweight. Am I? Am I really, Kronos? First of all, I'm still relatively coherent and everything, and this bottle was completely full when I started this show. So no, I don't think I'm entirely a lightweight. Now, if you want to talk to a lightweight, talk to Lore Reloaded. He'll drink a frickin' Bartles and James wine cooler and be off his rocker, and he'll admit it too. Dana, the guys want to go into the sewers for some slime stuff, and Egon thinks it's a large increase in cockroaches. Do you want to put off the dinner date and go with them? Oh, man. You know, Ghostbusters 2 was not the best, but it had some good moments. Rather than warring sides, I like to think of you as just fandom. The Phantom Menace is an extremely political party, and you're the loyal opposition. We are all a nation of fans. I tend to agree. Did your tip jar get larger? Yes, unfortunately, I don't understand why, but it's a StreamYards or Streamlabs or whatever you Streamlabs thing where I can't make the jar itself any smaller. If I do, then the cup that's actually hiding under the jar becomes obvious and looks stupid. It was the hero ship you didn't like that I believe you said during the ME stream. I didn't like the ship, but I don't think that was one of my 3. I thought it was the Borg cube, the fencing, and the dialogue, but I could be wrong. If Picard is a feeble old human, what does that make you, old and feeble hobbit? Funny. Dreamer out there says, more contemporary writing than when Rafi says, come on, traffic is blowing up. And yeah, good blowing up or bad blowing up. That's true. That was another one. I didn't catch that one. What are you doing, Auntie? Maybe the Romulan was toying with Picard. It didn't seem like it. I mean, could be, but it didn't seem like it or feel like it. All right. So, and guys, please don't take offense if I don't get to your chat, because it's getting very, very late for me. It's 1:15 in the morning, so I'm going to have to stop. Chrono says, wow, Trigger's really not going to catch up. No, I'm definitely not. Could Picard, deflecting a single blow in his most martial arts, using his opponent's strength against him, so 1 blow, maybe not 2 or 3. Here's the thing, though. You're talking about a being that is 3 times a normal human strength, and he's a 95-year-old man. I just don't... I can't buy that. Dale says, Enter sock scatting. That's enough to completely derail the series for me. So freaking stupid. Oh, sock skating. I was like, sock scatting? Is that like taking off your sock and pooping in it? That's like a lore, or not a lore, bird of prey thing. Like, I can see him sock scatting in an emergency. That's wrong. So freaking stupid. These are adults. I know. I'll give you Discovery Season 1, but Season 2 was very good. New Eden was very TOS-like. New Eden wasn't too bad, except that they never followed up on Pike's religious upbringing. I was really disappointed by that. I do think that Discovery Season 2 was far better than Season 1, but they screwed the pooch with the finale of Season 2. Theory, Red Angel warns ancient Romulans of control. Synth Destroyer enters mythology. Zatvash infiltrate corrupt Starfleet. Feds have civil war, break apart. Leads into Disco Season 3. I hope that is not the case. Bird is better than you are when it comes to chats catching up. I'm almost thinking of defecting to Kuroga. Wow. Hunter says, I'm willing to support your opinion that Picard could be an arrogant prick, but we're going to need some examples to back that up. It's the 3rd or 4th time you said that without an example. Okay. Who watches the Watchers? Picard basically says that to believe in any kind of supernatural thing is to be avoided. And he will not, that he cannot stand the idea that these people would lose the incredible achievement of being atheists. How many people have boats and shipping, but not aircraft carriers and Trek? There are independent colony traders, such as multiple ones that appear in episodes of TNG and DS9. But here's the thing. How many people have boats compared to the general population? What is the percentage of people that actually own a boat? Even a tiny little dinghy, right? But we're talking about seaworthy vessels to be warp capable. And so I don't buy it. Yes, Picard should just get his own damn ship, hence one of my problems with Picard. Well, no, that's the problem, Zabe, is that people are assuming that getting a warp-capable ship is an easy thing. Were you going to say Doomcock? Just wondering. No, Doomcock is a friend. I think that likely the Commodore O is wearing sunglasses because she's trying to be intimidating. Didn't I read that already? Neo Normie says there was an independent warp ships in Enterprise as well as independent colony warp ships like the Maquis Navy. No thing bigger than an Oberth class. Yes, but that doesn't mean that everybody. Look. I'm not mad at you, but I'm mad at the argument because here's the thing. Yes, you are absolutely right. We've seen independent warp-capable ships. In fact, the first time we saw an independent warp-capable ship was Star Trek III, when we saw the merchants that were selling the information to the Klingons, right? This is nothing new. However, just like in the real world, there are people that own seaworthy vessels that could get in a boat and go from California to Japan. No problem. But that is not commonplace. Just because we've seen a couple of warp-capable ships in the hands of civilians doesn't mean that every civilian has a warp-capable ship. That is just insanity to think that just because you saw one example of it, that everybody's got to have it. And granted, there's more than one example, but you know what I'm saying. Let's see. And yes, Mr. Miles, they did have an independent ship in TOS with Mud. Mud had an independent ship as well. However, Mud actually stole that ship, so there's that. Obviously, Emergency X holograms are running as a running gag. Yes, Picard is a filthy effing rich. I tend to agree. Spin, Spock, spin! Well, you know what? Yeah. There we go. A little spinning Spock action. And so I just said that because the first time we saw it was in a Trek movie. Gotcha. Actually, it's funny because, yeah, the first time we actually saw a ship was in Star Trek 3 until they later, basically in the re-release of TOS with the enhanced visual effects, the remastered TOS, they added the ship so you could see it. But the first time we actually saw a warp-capable ship in the hands of a civilian was Star Trek 3. But they did exist. It was established that they existed in the original series. Ralphie was a drug addict. You know the funniest thing about that, Tentacle, and I didn't think about that until just this very moment, Ralphie's name sounds an awful lot like Roofie. If anyone owned a warp ship, then it would be like everyone owning a private jet today. Exactly. It's like just because some people have them doesn't mean everyone had them. The average price for a vineyard in France is $61,000 per acre in 2020. Just looked it up. Well, then you'd have to be pretty darn wealthy to own a sizable vineyard. Because guess what? You're not, and that's just the land. Novers are a thing, I swear. Emergency hospitality program, I guess when you need Aunt B before you get Aunt B. Yeah. Highlander 2 is better than Star Trek Discovery. I'd have to rewatch Highlander 2 to tell you that. But many suns have gone supernova in Trek, and nothing like the effect that an entire empire got destroyed. Generations had many suns that went nova. Well, first of all, there is a difference between a nova and a supernova. Second of all, so what? You know, and that's the thing. People are trying to argue that, and this is another thing that's kind of stupid about that whole argumentation, is that just because Star X went nova, or even if they said supernova and it didn't wipe out an entire section of the galaxy, doesn't mean that every supernova is that strength. Because do you not know a damn thing about physics? Do you not know that there are dozens of different kinds of stars, and each one of them, when they go nova, have a different effect? So just because there was a nova in some episode of TNG or TOS, and it didn't wipe out a section of the galaxy, well, that was a type whatever nova, as opposed to a supernova like the one that we got in Star Trek 2009. I'm sorry, that is stupid argument, Tentacle. That is arguing just to argue, because if you want to make a logical argument, it would have to be something like, this is the biggest supernova in the history of history, and have it not have some kind of massive effect. But, you know, that's, and so I'm sorry. And by the way, the novas in Generations were not supernovas. In fact, they weren't even truly novas. They were stellar collapses, and there was a shock wave, but they weren't novas in the way that we think of, like what we got with the Romulan Empire. Quark was a smut peddler. Indeed, he was. Thought he was wrong. Certain episodes where he puts the prime directive over everything else, like when the one where Worf's foster brother helps the villagers. Yeah, well, I actually used that clip once, but nobody cares. Tentacle says, that's not how Starfleet works, or even how the military works. You don't fire someone because their co-CO quits. It doesn't matter how much you hated that person. Tentacle, okay. I'm sure you think that the world is perfect, too. Number 1 says, briefcase guy. Chrono says, you broke your little ships. Firing Rafi, the Fed expert on Tal Shiar, sounds like a cover-up. Exactly, and that's the thing. I understand the Tentacle doesn't believe that things can be politically motivated, but I absolutely believe that it was politically motivated. I will post you on Twitter a 1973 Turkish Star Trek movie you should review. It's the ultimate fan film. It just looks pretty close to TOS. I have not seen it. I don't know if I want to. Wow, you sound like an older man. Didn't know that was possible. Jerk. And Wes and Schneppenjager put $2 each in. Thank you so much. Schneppenjager just says, but dude... And maybe Picard is still stuck in the Nexus. That's what Wes says. Both entirely possible. The dude, I think, is more likely than him being stuck in the Nexus. But thank you, both of you. I truly appreciate it. You guys are freaking awesome. And you guys have been so generous. I can't thank you enough. Sean says, if Picard is just one plot hole per episode, it's doing better than other Star Trek shows. Well, that's the thing. It's like, people want to say, oh, well, this is wrong, therefore the show sucks, right? Where, I'm sorry, you could find 1,000 things just as bad in any other Star Trek series, and you're going to say, yeah, but there are so many good episodes. You're just going to have people try to, argue about it. But the stupid thing about the Nova thing is that it's demonstrably false to argue that the supernova couldn't do that, and then you want to try to example other novas like every nova is exactly the same, when it's demonstrably false that every nova is the same. You want to have fun with that? You go ahead and have fun with that, but it's stupid. I'm sorry. It is stupid to use that kind of reasoning to suggest that because, it's just like the whole thing with the warp ships, because you saw one person, oh wait, Harry Mudd had a warp-capable ship, therefore everybody has a warp-capable ship. Simply stupid logic. Well, that's the problem. It's not logic. And in fact, that's, I think that's the problem, is that people that make those types of arguments simply lack a fundamental understanding of what a logical argument is. A logical argument is because if you establish fact A and fact B, therefore C. So, for example, if all people are human and all humans have starships, therefore all people have starships, right? That's a logical argument that would be true. If A and B were true, then C would follow. However, here's the problem. Argument is warp-capable ships are capable of traveling faster than light. We saw that there are civilians that have warp-capable ships. Therefore, every civilian has a warp-capable ship. That's not a logical argument. That is an incoherent argument from a logical standpoint. And Schlepp says, do I have to ask for Super Chat 4? Don't I have to ask for Super Chat 4 now? You don't have to, but you certainly can, my friend. Oh, it's Uber Chat 4 you wanted, huh? So if it was Uber Chat 4, I'll give it to you if that's what you wanted. But I think that that's just Kronos trying to feed you some information. So you tell me, Schlepp, in the next 30 seconds, and I will play it. Otherwise, I'm not going to play it. Meanwhile, Kronos says, no, Beagle Bites are made from Soylent Beagle. I didn't know that. Yeah, that was the one. The one. So you want a Beavis and Butthead one, right? Okay. Yes, even though a giant asteroid was right in front of Bird of Prey, he crashed into it. Yes, indeed. I love Brie as a cheese. Brie isn't that hard on the eyes. She made me sleep. My dog hates treats. Oh, black screen. Sorry about that. Thank you.
Yes.
You can tell I'm getting tired. All right, so I am going to wrap it up there, guys, because I tried, but I just can't catch up. You know, I'm not as far behind, but I'm running out of steam here. So I want to say thank you guys for hanging out with me. You guys have been freaking awesome. Over 100 people, blows me away. You know, thank you for putting up with me. And I'm absolutely serious here. If you guys see me as being an arrogant prick, call me out on it. Do. And as much as I get mad at Tentacle Pentacle for making what I say are stupid arguments, I appreciate the fact that he's trying to make real arguments. So don't think that I hate you, Tentacle. I don't. Even though I think your argument does not logically follow. And so that's the problem. Anyway, before I go, honestly, just thank you. I can't believe the channel's been doing as well as it has. Even though this has been a little bit of a rough patch as far as views, I know that that's because it's the beginning of the year, and the beginning of the year only these types of things happen. But I'm very excited about the future. Tomorrow morning we have another Submariner video, so that's going to be awesome. And Andrew throws in another 2 Canadian bucks. Thank you, Andrew. It says, good night. Thanks for the awesome stream. Thank you. I could not ask for a nicer way to sign off. Corona says, when is your next live stream? In approximately 21 hours and 30 minutes, I think, if I'm reading the time correct. So that will be the next live stream. And so, guys, have a good one. Don't forget to tape your waiter? Tip your waiter. And Matt G throws a buck in as well. Thank you, Matt. Wow, you guys are just being so freaking nice. I don't know why. I don't deserve it. And we got to call you out for being an arrogant prick, but that's like a full-time job. Well, true. Don't worry, Mr. Miles does a good job of it. He really does. And I'm not saying that just to be a dick. It's true. Mr. Miles is very quick to point out when I come across as too arrogant. So, but thank you, Matt G. Throw out numbers, damn you. If they ask for numbers, they'll get numbers. Sorry, Kronos. That's the way it goes. Some people, here's the thing, Kronos, some people want to donate just to be nice. That's just awesome, right? I know, you know, other people, they want to get a super chat reward. And of course, everybody that donates can get one. RR throws $4.99 in and says, I don't agree with a lot of your opinions, but I do respect that you respectfully argue your point of view. I've never heard you be disrespectful. Thank you. Even though I do sometimes call people jerks, I'm usually doing it in jest. And when I say an argument is stupid, I don't mean the person is stupid. Like, I don't think for 1 minute that Tentacle Pentacle is stupid. I just think that he was using a bad logical argument, which is stupid, but he's not. And E. Ferris puts in a buck. Thank you so much, E. I don't know what the E stands for, but you're awesome. So it's like awesome. Chrono says, thank you for not saying sorry a lot. I'm trying to work on that, my friend. I am trying to work on that. Super chat rewards are awesome. Well, thank you, Chrono. I do like them, but at the same time, the idea of the super chat reward is just if somebody wants them, great. But if they don't, if they just and truly, if someone wants to donate just to donate, that's just icing on the cake. So you still haven't shown my logic is flawed. Okay, I'll let you think that. Okay, so I said, okay, so what you're arguing, here's what you're arguing. There have been supernovas in Star Trek. Therefore, the supernova fact number 1, there have been prior supernovas in Star Trek. Fact number 2, those supernovas did not destroy any more than one star system for the best of our knowledge. Therefore, the star system, the supernova in Star Trek 2009 could not have destroyed more than one solar system. That is not a logical argument. That is a logical fallacy because your conclusion does not follow from your premises. You would have to say that there was some reason that was the maximum size of a supernova. You know damn well, Tentacle Pentacle, and I'm sorry, you do know, because I don't think you're stupid, and I don't think you're ignorant on this. So you know damn well that a supernova, that there are multiple kinds of supernovas. Not every supernova is the exact same magnitude. And that if you have a large-scale supernova, as I demonstrated in my video from an actual PhD on this stuff, would in fact encompass and wipe out an area of approximately 50 light years. And what I said is that fact number one, a supernova, as defined scientifically, would wipe out an area of approximately 50 light years. Fact number two, based on the stellar cartography supplied by Thomas Potts, the best estimates that we can get is that the Romulan Empire is, in fact, less than 50 light years across. Conclusion, a supernova could, in fact, wipe out the Romulan Star Empire. Bam! Mic drop. End of show.
Making your way with the nerds today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from hating JJ sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to just get laid? Sometimes you wanna go where all the Trekkies know your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be in a galaxy where Star Trek isn't lame. You wanna go where everybody knows your name. Turds of a feather flock together, that's what we believe. We know a place that's got you covered, a place to get relief. Wouldn't you like to say me Prue? Sometimes you wanna go where Turnistenes know your name, and all Kurogans are to blame. You wanna be where you can see Kuroga go up in flames. You wanna go where everybody knows your name.
You son of a bitch, anti-tracker!